Hello there, welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly and today we're going to create a personalized card using stamping, inking, and markering techniques on the card itself without adding any pattern paper. We're going to use the Memory Lane collection, but we're primarily going to use this adorable Memory Lane stamp set. I'm going to use some honey butter, melon, and sage inks with my blending brushes, and I'm going to go around the base of a 5x7 card. And I have it in vertical orientation right now, but it's going to be moved to horizontal for the final card. And I'm simply rubbing these inks and alternating these inks to make a colorful border around the edge. And then I'm going to come back in with some stamping. Before we get too far into the card, I sure hope you'll hit subscribe and the notifications bell so you get any future notifications of any video and inspiration that I post coming up here in the future. Now I'm going to link in the description my previous video using the Memory Lane collection, and I go in great detail on all of the products and the items in the Memory Lane collection that are in the bundle, and I go into a full process video where I'm creating a 2-page layout, and the theme features my son and daughter-in-law on the closing of their very first home. So I wanted to come back and create a card with that same theme and one of the photos that I used in the layout to coordinate their housewarming card with the layout. So my son and daughter-in-law have been together for well over a decade, around 12 years, so they don't need a lot of things for their new home. They've already collected quite a few things over the years, so I thought a housewarming card, maybe with a little cash. People who have new home payments definitely need cash, or maybe a certificate for some housekeeping or something like that. And so I love the idea of teaching everyone how, if they don't have coordinating cardstock or pattern paper colors, how they can simply use inking and stamping and create a complete card without any pattern paper at all. So I've gone around the whole outer edge with that stitched flower stamp, and I've gone over the top of the inking that I've had around the edges, and some of those flower stamps overlap, which is okay because they're just going to peek out from under the edge. You're not going to see the part that overlaps and sort of gets muddied together. I've stamped 2 additional flowers. I've stamped a house, which there's 2 to choose from, so you could choose the one that you like, and then I've stamped the tree. I'm coming in and I have some tri-blend markers here. I've gone into the center of the flowers with dark citrus in the very center, light citrus around that. Now I'm coming in with the Coral Blends marker, and I'm using dark on one flower, medium on another flower, and on the 2 little flowers, I'm going to use a combination of dark and light coral. That coral tri-blend really lends itself to the melon. It's what I found is the closest to our melon, and it helps when you're using the dark, the medium, and the light shades to really pull it all together. Now, I'm not using a lot of tri-blend technique. I'm simply going in and coloring and maybe coming in with a little bit of a darker color in some of the lines, and then maybe coming back over it with a little bit of light to blend it all together. So nothing too fancy, but it really makes those flowers look so vibrant, and they're going to look so pretty on the card with the softer blended colors on the base and the more vibrant colors on the bits that are going on the front of the card. So now I'm coming in with the dull green, and I'm using the I believe I used the light on all of the leaves and then came back in with the medium or dark to do a little shading on the lines. So for the house, I'm using earth brown dark on the roof, both pieces of the roof and a few of the window bits, and medium earth brown on some more of the interior bits. Then I'll be coming in with that medium coral that we used on those flowers to color the rest of the house. I'm leaving the windows white, but I love coordinating the house itself with those flowers. Now, My son and daughter-in-law's house has mostly browns, but I love adding the pops of color with the neutral tones in the photo to really make a more vibrant card. So now I'm just again coming in with the brown tones on the pieces of the windows, and I'm actually just coming in and adding the darker bits, and then I will come back in with the coral in there and have that look a little bit more like the melon. I love using the tri-blends for a darker, richer color, and I love using the blending brushes for more of a blurred or watercolory washy tone, and both are super popular right now. That watercolor look is really popular, the blended look is really popular, but the vibrant color of the tri-blends never ever gets old. It's super wonderful. I've been really excited for the kids to be able to start moving in, and I'm so excited to be able to share with them the layout that I created featuring them, and I'm also excited to be able to give them their card and be able to share that with them and share their excitement with them. But this type of a card would be wonderful. I feel like personalizing your card with a photo is such an awesome thing to do, because so many times people throw the card away. Why not add a meaningful photo to the card, and then they can put that right in their memory book, and it will last forever with that photo in there, and it'll be a decorative element that's added with that photo. So for the tree, I'm using the earth brown, and I'm using the medium and dark. The dark, of course, for some of the lines, and the medium for the main part of the tree trunk and the branches. I'm coming back in with the medium and dark dull green, of course the dark for the lines, the medium for the core of the tree, and then coming back over the whole thing with the light. And I'm not doing the entire tree because after assembly of the card, you really only see just the tops of the tree. So there's no sense spending your time coloring parts that won't show. You just simply need the top. Once I get all of these pieces created, and I will color the second flower in the exact same way off camera, I will fussy cut around the pieces, leaving a little bit of a white edge. Leaving a little bit of a white edge for fussy cutting really helps it look like a crisp, clean, thin cut, and it also helps with not having to have everything super perfect. It gives you a little bit of leeway. So I have a little mini stamp set here that has the word celebrate on it, and I've added a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 photo mat to a 4 by 6 photo, and I'm adding that over the top of the blended base of the card, and then we'll decorate with all of the bits that we just created with our tri-blends. So I'm going to put the tree flush on the card. I'm going to overlap the house and pop that up with a little foam tape, and then I'm going to overlap the florals and pop that up with a little foam tape. And there's so much lawn showing there, it actually works out perfect to sort of put the cluster at the bottom and hug the house there, and then put another flower cluster over to the left with foam tape and add that little sentiment. So I stamped the sentiment on a little piece of white daisy, trimmed it out and dovetailed it, added a little bit of citrus blend marker to that for just to, you know, brush it up and rough it up just a little bit. And you could leave the sentiment off. You could add any sentiment you wanted. There's also sayings and sentiments right on the memory lane stamp set. And you could definitely use a photo with people. You could use this as a variety of photos. It doesn't have to be for housewarming. There's so many cute things that you could put on your card to personalize it with that photo. And again, I love doing the personalized photo on there so that it's something that they'll keep forever instead of something that eventually gets thrown away. So now I'm adding that dimension with the foam tape. I just love adding that foam tape for dimension, laying that right over the top of the stamped flower that kind of peeks out from underneath. And then now that the card is complete, it's just so simple and easy and understated but special because it uses the personalized photo of their home. I'm going to add a couple gold glitter gems, and then I'm going to personalize the envelope, and I'm actually using some of the memory lane pattern paper to personalize the envelope. But you could easily use this same stamping and rubbing technique on cardstock and be able to personalize the envelope without any pattern paper as well. This pattern paper will really lends itself well to the neutral tones in the house. I love adding the bright colors to neutral tones in a photo. It just really makes everything pop and stand out. But let's say you don't have any pattern paper that would go with the photo that you're using. You could use a stamping, ink blending, and tri-markering technique to do that, because then you can customize those colors. So what I've done is I've used our 5x7 envelope flap thin cut, and I've created a base that goes on the back of the flap with melon cardstock, and I'm using that memory lane pattern paper on the top to really just do that one added step that really makes that card special and even more personalized. Now we have a standard size thin cut for regular envelopes, and we have the flap thin cut here for the 5x7 envelopes, and I'll link all of the supplies used here today in the description. I hope you've enjoyed this process video and it's given you some inspiration and tips on how to create cards just with stamping, inking, and blending. I hope you'll follow along and come back for more inspiration. Bye-bye.